A source water protection program is an important part of the multi-barrier approach to running a public water system. The multi-barrier approach includes protecting the source of drinking water from contamination, optimizing water treatment processes, and maintaining water quality and security in the distribution system. It is important to review and update your source water protection program over time. How long ago did you put together your source water protection program? If conditions in your watershed or aquifer changed since you started it, or if it's time to re-energize it by updating or adding protection measures, chances are your program probably needs updating. What messages about drinking water protection are most important for you to tell the public, municipal officials, students, and others? Let's review the components of a source water protection program. A source water protection program has many components. Please review this slide for a moment. We will be discussing these topics during the presentation. Intake and wellhead protection. The most important and vulnerable areas to protect are the wellhead at public drinking water wells and the intake and dam at public drinking water reservoirs. You should conduct regular logged inspections of these areas and post water supply protection signs and emergency contact information. Local, state, and environmental police can help with education and enforcement of no trespass rules. Land protection. Water suppliers are some of the largest landowners and land stewards in the Commonwealth. Protecting land at water supplies includes purchases of land and conservation restrictions, CRs, and donations of each of these. A CR is a voluntary, legally binding document recorded at the Registry of Deeds, which describes a limitation on the use of land, either privately or publicly owned, that is designed to preserve it from adverse future change. For water supply protection, it must be held by the Board of Water Commissioners or like body having jurisdiction over the water system. MGL Chapter 40, Section 41 requires that towns, water suppliers, and fire districts obtain pre-approval from MassDEP for purchases and donations of land, conservation restrictions, rights of way, easements, and other interests in land for water supply purposes. MassDEP reviews and signs off on the conservation restriction document and pre-approves the sale or transfer of water supply lands and CRs. These are rare occurrences, and other approvals may apply. Land in the watershed or aquifer should be prioritized for acquisition in a written plan. Water suppliers can partner with land trusts, watershed organizations, and other local, regional, or national organizations to conduct land protection activities. The partners may provide help to contact landowners, purchase land or CRs, accept donations, conduct public outreach to garner support for an acquisition, conduct a baseline survey of the land to document existing conditions, help manage the lands for water supply protection, and conduct inspections. The Massachusetts Drinking Water Supply Protection Grant Program awards funds to public water suppliers to purchase land and conservation restrictions. More information is available at the link shown here. Land management. Once land is acquired, regular logged inspections should be conducted to look for dumping, vandalism, encroachment on boundaries, erosion, and other activities. It is important to check in with the landowners to make sure they adhere to the conditions of the restriction. When landowners change, you need to educate the new owners about the purpose of the CR and its conditions. Public access and recreation. Post signs denoting that the area is a public water supply. Post no trespassing signs, or signs denoting activities that are and are not allowed, depending on your access policies. Whether you allow public access or not, inspections and enforcement of your rules will help to prevent microbial contamination from humans and animals, trash disposal, other illegal dumping, and erosion. Maintain an inspection log to demonstrate compliance with the Massachusetts drinking water regulations. Public access and recreation should be prohibited if appropriate controls and funds to sustain them are not available. Work with local, state, and environmental police to enforce your rules. Public access is not allowed in Zone 1. To control public access and recreation, install and maintain water supply protection signs and reroute trails away from unstable soils and steep slopes. Block off vulnerable areas to people and vehicles, replant eroded areas, create well-defined parking areas, educate the public, and develop a trail adoption program. Wildlife impacts. Birds, beavers, and other animals can cause microbial contamination of the water supply and threaten public health. A long-term strategy is needed to keep animals away from vulnerable areas, such as the intake or wellhead, the water, and areas subject to flooding. Water suppliers have found it effective to perform the following actions to address wildlife impacts. Conduct regular inspections. Harass birds to prevent contact with reservoir and wellheads. Reduce attractive habitats for geese. Work with solid waste and sewage treatment facilities to control gulls. Conduct outreach to residents, instruct them not to feed the birds, and remind businesses to cover trash and food waste bins. Forestry. There are many possible obstacles to forestry operating, including leaks and spills from equipment, erosion of soils, sedimentation at stream crossings, and creating ruts that change flow of surface runoff. A healthy forest protects both surface water and groundwater sources. Trees prevent erosion and provide slow filtration of runoff into the ground. A healthy forest spans diverse tree species and ages, reducing the impact from diseases, insect infestations, or other natural events that might affect one species of trees. Many public water suppliers have a forest management plan and harvest trees on their lands to maintain mixed ages and species of trees. Some water suppliers monitor forestry projects on private properties that have forest cutting plans, such as on lands covered by conservation restrictions for water supply protection. Best management practices for forestry are available in the Massachusetts Forestry Best Management Practices Manual, prepared for the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, 2013, 2nd edition. Please visit the web address shown here for a copy. In-lake problems. Most of the problems that can occur in drinking water reservoirs are caused by the flow of untreated stormwater. When it flows over land or through tributaries or groundwater into reservoirs, it causes issues such as turbidity, bacteria, viruses, and algal blooms. Nutrients, plants, and seeds entering a system through stormwater runoff encourage the growth of aquatic invasive species. Here are some important source water protection actions to take. Promote vegetative buffers along shorelines. Identify, map, and reduce or eliminate untreated stormwater runoff into reservoirs and tributaries. Reduce nutrient runoff, and conduct street sweeping. Invasive species are non-native plants and animals that adversely affect the habitats that they invade economically, environmentally, or ecologically. Non-native plants and animals are expanding their ranges and crowding out native species. Invasive species can occur in the water or on land, so public water suppliers should be aware of invasive species on water supply lands and in the water, and how best to control them. This challenging topic is expected to worsen as habitat ranges shift. For more information, visit the link shown here. Perform water sampling at locations in the reservoir and tributaries, or in the aquifer to establish baseline water quality, or where you have identified or suspect there are land uses or activities that may impact the water supply. Sampling programs are very watershed and aquifer specific. Often, community groups and government agencies have water quality results that can be used to identify problems and look for trends in surface water and groundwater quality. Local regulatory controls. Identify unwanted land uses in watersheds and aquifers. Review local land use controls such as bylaws, ordinances, and regulations to prevent new instances of these land uses. Work with municipal officials to update the controls where needed. Massachusetts Drinking Water Regulation 310 CMR 22.00 lists the minimum land uses to prohibit or control. Model water supply protection bylaws are available on MassDEP's website shown here. Municipal Improvements. Municipal departments have many land uses and activities going on in watersheds and aquifers. Develop a plan with municipal officials and staff to improve municipal land uses and activities for water supply protection. Always use a state-licensed pesticide applicator. Please visit the site shown here for more. Emergency planning focuses on preventing and minimizing spills and accidents, rather than only responding to them. Post your communication and contact list at all facilities. Participate in drills with the local first responders. Coordinate emergency procedures with other towns in the aquifer or watershed. Identify locations of frequent vehicular accidents near the water supply and talk to the municipal DPW or MassDOT for state roads and see if safety measures such as guardrails or road changes can be made. Post road signs in the aquifer or watershed to call 911 for emergencies. To whom should you target outreach and education programs? What kind of programs should you conduct? The messages you want to get out about water supply protection drive the kinds of educational programs that you undertake. Time, resources, and staff are needed, but every bit of outreach that you complete protects the water supply for the future, and hopefully helps to increase support from residents as they begin to understand the challenges that you face in running the local water system. Possible topics for outreach and education include proper disposal of pet, automotive, and household hazardous wastes, impacts from pesticides and fertilizers used in lawn care and gardening, maintenance of septic systems and above-ground and underground storage tanks, best management practices for business and municipal departments, forestry practices, land protection and management, and special local concerns or issues. It is also important to discuss the value of public drinking water and the challenges of operating a public water system. Teachers, local organizations such as garden clubs and watershed associations, municipal staff, and local volunteers can all be effective partners. For example, staff in the town clerk's office issue dog licenses. A fact sheet which discusses how to avoid microbial contamination of water supplies by picking up and properly disposing of dog waste can accompany each license issued. Multi-town coordination. Many, if not most, aquifers and watersheds extend into communities that are not served by the public water system. Some reservoirs and public wells are located in other communities as well. Employ these strategies for meeting this challenging situation. Exchange copies of aquifer and watershed maps. Form an aquifer and/or watershed protection team. Stay aware of projects being proposed in the other communities and comment on them. Ask other municipalities to adopt land use controls. And exchange information about emergency contacts. Staffing. Do you have enough staff to implement your source water protection program and conduct inspections, enforcements, outreach, and education? Do you train staff to protect the water supply? Have you designated a staff person to update your program as needed? Although running a public water system involves many parts, maintaining the multi-barrier approach is important to protecting your drinking water for existing and future customers. Don't do it alone. A local water supply protection team or committee can help you write and implement a protection plan, update an existing plan, conduct outreach and education programs, and implement other parts of your source water protection program. Your source water protection program should be summarized in a written plan. Having a wellhead or surface water protection plan documents your program and protects your drinking water, but it also presents a good image to your customers. Having a plan helps with local succession planning. MassDEP's guidance documents for writing surface water and wellhead protection plans are located at the link shown here. Here are the Boston Drinking Water Program contacts for more source water protection information. These staff help water suppliers write protection plans, review and draft local land use controls, such as zoning and non-zoning bylaws and ordinances, and answer questions about protecting surface and groundwater sources. Sign up for emails from the Drinking Water Program by contacting the program at the email address or telephone number provided here. Visit the Drinking Water Program's webpage for fact sheets, guidance, training videos, and other water supply information, or call us with questions. Here's a review of the links provided during this presentation.